Hey, welcome, y'all, and thanks for coming by. I'm Phineas T. Broussard, the 10-term Southern Senator from the great state of Down Yonder. And we got quite a show lined up here. Talk about the center ring of the circus. We got more going on than a Down Yonder textile mill, at least when we still manufacture textiles. I mentioned recent that life fully interconnected trade-offs. Since then, many been asking, so let's look at the facts and unpack these conundrums on the other side, or at least in future chit-chats. Before anything, I got to say, while I still deeply disturbed by the smudge, he whose name won't cross my lips, and find virtually everything about him despicable, from his lying lack of character to his disregard for truth and facts. On July 13, I wept. I wept for him, for his family, for America. We so deeply divided and so angry that some nut job with a weapon he shouldn't have in the first place tried to kill a legitimate presidential contender with a sizable following. Whatever the solution, I'm pretty sure that ain't it, no matter how much I pity the man, because I will never become what I pity. Violence in American politics ain't who we is, ain't who we aspire to be. And I ain't condoning or justifying even one tiny gnat turd tad of it. But I have to say, if you dealing in anger and fear, which is what the smudge doing in trying to rip America apart and burn it down, then you probably got to expect some will get angry and afraid. That ain't to say that the smudge got himself shot, but it do remind me of the old man Kingswell's lesson about rumor being far more fearful than reality. Exaggerated lies, likewise, is usually scarier than truth and facts. And I'm saying to everyone on both sides, mass motion's a slippery slope, and the constant lying about others are just inside nutty would-be assassins. So tone things down a tad. Any low-life cheering on hammer attacks of opponents' family members be unfit for any elective office. And a totally pitiful person, too. Most dangerous, of course, is that the smudge will seize on any opportunity to tear the country apart with lies to get votes and power. He's shameless, despicable, pitiful. I also got to mention, you probably know my good friend Jimmy just turned 100. They say he be on his last, breath probably slacking, feet probably cold. He in a hospice and his tour of duty may be near up. Rosalind course just recent already got gone. So probably a good time everyone to agree, regardless of what you think of his presidency, that Jimmy been a fine young man all his life, building houses for the poor and monitoring elections around the world, keep 'em fair for 45 years. We could probably use more of both those services now. So I'm proud of Jimmy, proud to have known him and proud to work with him. And I thank him not only for his service, but for his shining example of humanity personified. And I want to add that Jimmy was right back in the day when everyone was depressed over American hostages being held in Iran, and he said we could all help make things better if we just start saying something good about America. Those was wise words, worth remembering now because America becoming a cacophonous smorgasbord of nonsensical anger, possible on the verge of crashing. All because one man, the smudge, willing to lie through his teeth about everything, just create anger and fear. Anyway, thank you again, Jimmy, for being such a fine public figure and honorable man, and for helping to make America the best. Other things still changing faster than the lead at NASCAR. Big news after the shooting was that J.D. Vance joined the smudge ticket. He political punk by just about any measure and looked like a little boy with a beard. He'd been in Congress less than 2 years and done nothing beyond change his stripes to the color of the moment. That's smudge color. He actually called the smudge Hitler, for he genuflect like the man become God. Just the kind of lying young coward they need to carry on the smudge version of treasonous fascists trying to kill America. This young man who say the smudge not responsible for inciting the wingnuts who follow him in the January 6th uprising is the same idiot who say Biden directly responsible. That's a quote, directly responsible for a lonely and bullied young registered Republican trying to kill the smudge. Here we go again, back to centering the circus of lies, where inconsistent horse's head is peddled like popcorn. Remind me how, over in North Carolina, it's illegal just to call someone an arse. So you'd think you could do serious time for actually being one, just like you'd think being convicted of 34 fraud charges and an adjudicated rapist by juries of your peers, not prosecutors, be a lot more serious than just pointing it out, but not according to Vance, the little smudge, or smudgy. He tend to actually be more dangerous than the smudge because he's somewhat more intelligent, and that enabled him to be a better liar. Look out, America, and look out, smudgy, because power combined with lying hatred tend to spell danger, and even a hillbilly from the Ivy League ought to know to be more careful. Of course, perhaps biggest news of late, young Joe buy out and endorse Kamala, and quicker than a hiccup, she get all the delegates and raise record amounts of cash, and all of a sudden smudgy sound like the amateur he is, and you hear the fear in their voices. What a difference a day makes. America herself was looking pretty comatose, and now she's sounding ready to smite all assailants, foreign and domestic. Between the smudgy's shooting, the rise of the newbie punk-like smudgy, who practice only in the awful dodge, and Joe's comatose debate and subsequent withdrawal from the race, my weary dismals hit DEFCON 1. Yep, highest level state of alert used by the U.S. Defense Command structure. And this all come after the Supremes, the greatest imperial nutjobs to wear black robes since the Spanish Inquisition, launched their frontal attack by saying that the key American differentiator, that old saw about no one being above the law, not even the president, don't always really apply. Oops. Meanwhile, of course, Republicans still willing to support the president convicted of rape, convicted of fraud, repeatedly breaking the law, repeatedly lying about matters of substance, repeatedly ignoring truth and facts, and inciting millions to treason in his attempt to overthrow the United States. And get this, all while they blame an increased tension in America on those who just pointed out. Like the Carolinas. It's a problem for them when they just say it, but don't worry at all when they're doing it. There's a lot of overlap in what we're talking. And remember, the most abundant chemical element the whole universe may be hydrogen, but the most common human behavioral element be hypocrisy. Because there are plenty of silliness, or as my friend Bill Maher say, ample crazy on both sides, and hypocrisy be at the center of it all. That most evident with all the fakery going on with mag-ass toastrages, using accusations of fake as a protective shield against reality itself, while the left, with its own she-baby bullfrogs, use exaggerated defense every chance they get, even though fake outrage every bit as dangerous as fake denial. And I say to them calling reality fake to quit that silliness, and them taking offense got to quit clutching their pearls over the absurd lengths some go to and recognize first that they're arguing with a substantial number of people who've been lied to, basically brainwashed, bigly, into believing those lies. Politics be a contact sport, and lies fly like lead in tombstone. And to save America, both sides got to understand that truth still be the best offense and facts the best defense, even though they don't always work. And speaking of this fake business, we got to have ourselves at least a few more little chit-chats. Like when your boy pushing 9 and still believe fat old Santa can make it down and back up every narrow little chimney in the whole wide world, all in one night. Or when he pushing 15 and still think the stork brung his little sister. But these can't just be any chit-chats. This ain't about sugarcoating the realities of life for kids. We got to unpack all the harsh realities of life for grown-ups so they can decide once and for all how they gonna roll, especially this November 5. I hope with honorable intent, because it's not only about your future, it's about your kids' future and about America's future. That's why we really got to listen well, learn a lot, and man up and woman up to the threats we facing. Because hard as it might be to believe, it ain't women and people of color that the threat, it's those who hate or afraid of women and people of color. So remember how you learned that Santa Claus real, but just in your heart? And your little sister weren't brung by no bird? Well, just remember that rumor and lies almost always worse, and reality just ain't so bad as they trying to scare you into believing. Meanwhile, think about whether you're in the way and exactly what you're doing to help. I think the best way to help right now is to vote. The founders told the king to go fly a kite to claim their status as heroes. Some climbed the cliffs that point to high, face first in the machine gun fire to claim theirs. And many have risked their lives trying to help others in need. But all you have to do to be a true hero and help save America is get off your laurels and vote. See you next time, at least if a smudge ain't had me arrested for trying to wake you up and warn you. But I hope we talk soon. Take care now.